Because who doesn't like their rock and roll music with a double xylophone solo right in the middle of it? Ladies and gentlemen, that is Oingo Boingo from 1987 with Gray Matter, one of the great songs in the 1980s. Such an underrated band. Danny Elfman, the guy who you may know from many, many, many film scores, came up with the Simpsons theme. Very talented guy. The most amazing thing about that song, besides the lyrics, is that basically there's like 9 instruments minimum in it, and they're all playing a different song, and somehow it becomes a coherent song. I mean, absolutely unbelievable composition, totally awesome. And once again, guys, don't forget this was Danny Elfman trying to wake up the masses in 1987. He probably thought Reagan was the bad guy. Little did he know that in 2024, the song would be so appropriate. They say you're stupid, that you're too young to vote. They say you'll swallow anything that they shove down your throat. They say that you can't think, that you haven't got a brain. You're just there to listen. You're just being trained. There's nothing inside your head. They say you lost the ability to even think, that your tiny little brain slipped down the kitchen sink. Oh my God, this song is rebellion at its finest. And that's why culturally they want to suppress rock and roll or variants of rock and roll like Oingo Boingo was, and absolutely bring on stuff like rap and hip hop, which is more the music of compliance than it is the music of rebellion. Welcome to Toxically Masculine Tuesday, where we get to do anything the fuck we want, like play Oingo Boingo live videos to open the show. I'm your host, Mike Barra, in Las Vegas, Nevada. Tonight, I am drinking a little bit of Crown Royal with Dr. Pepper.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff, a little Canadian whiskey. And I don't know why I'm on the bottom. I'm never on the bottom. I don't know why Blake always said, Blake, the only reason you're on the bottom is because I want to be on top. The other reason is that with Brooks's camera angle, the CBD Gurus logo fits very well in his frame.
Yeah.
The Mr. He's got the Mr. Robot framing going there. It's really cool from a directorial standpoint. But I'm your host in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm drinking Crown and Dr. Pepper. Dr. Brooks Agnew joining us from the Carolinas, hopefully more awake than last week, Brooks.
Gosh, I was jet lagging so bad.
How you doing? How was your trips out to the West Coast, and what are you drinking?
It was very good. I'm drinking Perrier, kind of a weird one, Maison Perrier. I don't know. I guess it's all right. The trip was good. It was LA and then up to San Rafael. I expected to see lots of tents and weird stuff, but I didn't. Because the weather was foggy and rainy in LA, and it was beautiful in San Rafael. I stopped along the way for 3 days and rested and played golf in Pismo Beach, which was great. New Hope New Living Expo was great. About 800 people there. And lots of great booths, and met up with old friends, Danny and Brinkley, and other people I haven't seen for a couple of years, and everybody's looking healthy and having a great time.
Yeah, Daniel was at Death's Door in 2019. Last time I saw him at Dimensions of Disclosure in California. What's the name of that town? It's up the coast. I don't know. I don't remember, but
he's looking pretty poorly.
He didn't look like he was going to make it, and here he is 4 years later, new wife and everything, keeping him young.
He's solid.
Good for Daniel. Yeah, I used to do that event quite a bit. Last time I think was 2018 or 2019. I think they stopped liking me when I started supporting Trump. Speaking of that, joining us from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where your Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win the NBA championship, their first one this year, right? Right, Blake?
Of course, yes.
Is the ultimate keeping your feet on the ground reporter, TV's Blake Wally. Blake, somewhere east of California. Whoa. How you doing today, and what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm doing great. Yes, as you can see, I'm stepping out of the game in front of the Target Center to do this broadcast. It's great to be here. Good call on the Danny Elfman. He's one of the great musical geniuses of our time. I had no idea. I hadn't heard that song.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't heard that song? Oh, yeah. You gotta check out their greatest hits. There's some inappropriate stuff like the song "I Love Little Girls," but I think in the '80s the song was more harmless than it is today, unless
Right.
Danny knew something from what he'd seen in Hollywood. And who knows? Who knows? Elfman's probably gay. Is he gay? I don't know. We don't know. But an amazing composer, and until he's exposed, if he is, we can still play his music because that's a fucking amazing song. That's my favorite Oingo Boingo song. Absolutely. I wasn't sure if you'd know who it was because it was so
I knew. Oh yeah.
I had 3 guesses, and Oingo Boingo was on top, Danny Elfman, and then I was thinking, could it be Devo because I haven't seen him, or David Byrne of the Talking Heads? But I don't think.
No,
those were all good guesses, but you were dead right. It was Danny Elfman and Oingo Boingo, his original band, and I think they actually broke up in the late '80s. He stopped doing it, but what an amazing composer! And again, a lot of the songs are like that. You're like, when you listen to it in the headphones, you're like, okay. The xylophones are playing one tune, and the guitar is playing another tune, and the bass is playing, and the drums are playing a different tune, and then there's 14 other percussive instruments, and somehow it makes a song, and it's just really incredible stuff. So, absolutely recommend that song. Elfman is married to Jane Fonda. That's probably a problem. I did not know that. That's gross. He's banging an 80-year-old lady. Wow. Ooh, no go zone, no goes. I don't care. I don't care if it was Gabrielle Drake, from UFO, the girl with the purple hair and the huge. I don't care if she's 80. I'm not going there. I just call me ageist. It's fine. I'm an ageist. All right.
Barbarella, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, Barbarella, but that was in 1967, right? I mean, that's so old. It was the 15 years prior inspiration for the name of the band Duran Duran. So, all right, here we go, guys. Okay, let's talk about some news. Yes, Brooks.
I remember Oingo Boingo because they were the live band in the movie Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. You remember that? They were playing live in the movie. It was great. It was just great.
David Young says there's too much light behind me. I'm too dark. Well, yeah, but the sun's going down, and it'll be down by the end of the show probably, and it'll all balance out at the end of it. Yeah, Elfman disbanded the band to pursue more profitable interests such as writing movie and TV scores. He has performed some concerts in the last few years. Yeah, that's because concerts are like now huge money makers. I mean, again, they didn't used to be. So in the '80s, they weren't that profitable. A lot of bands on tour didn't make much money. So, all right, guys. Some weird things went on this week, and the news is bizarre as always. It is Bizarre World, and we're going to start with what happened in the U.S. Congress this last week. An absolute fucking disgrace. And let's just go to the video. Let's just go to the video. This is what happened in the U.S. Congress. Let's just play the video and suffer through it and be miserable. Okay. If you don't know what that is traitorous Speaker Mike Johnson and every Democrat member of the Democratic caucus waving Ukrainian flags in the United States Congress, waving Ukrainian flags to celebrate another $60 billion taken out of your accounts at the Federal Reserve to be sent to Ukraine to prolong a massive slaughter going on in there of Ukrainians and all their young men for no reason whatsoever, to fight an imaginary friend. And of course, the reality is, Blake, that they are simply doing this to launder more money through Ukraine. And every single person in that chamber is going to get hundreds of thousands, if not millions, out of this bill, except for the few people who voted against it. You saw the back of Matt Gaetz' head there, and there's another video where he turns, and the look of disgust on his face is it's just it's it's beyond. He looks sick to his stomach, literally sick to his stomach. Before we go to Brooks to get an analysis of what this means for the situation on the ground, Blake, I just like to get your opinion as an American, because last time I checked, you are a fucking American. Isn't this the most nauseating thing you've ever seen? And actually, I think it ought to actually be a felony to wave any flag in the U.S. House or Senate other than the American flag. But that's just me. What do you think, and how did you feel when you saw this?
Yeah, you're right, Mike. I agree. Maybe they should pass a new law to ban that from ever happening again. It was a disgrace. It was, and every American should be outraged by that. Now, I believe that was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that was Thomas Massey who was videotaping that. He wasn't supposed to. So I guess the sergeant at arms or somebody in authority there is supposed to charge him like $500 or whatever, which we'll gladly pay to get rid of the video. But they didn't want you to see that. This is what they're doing when they think that no one's watching. So it's, but I mean, we all deserve to know what our people. There are representatives. We bring them in there not to give any more money, to represent our interests and what we want to spend our tax dollars on. They've already given enough money to Ukraine, and now they just slapped us in the face on a Saturday. People want to enjoy their weekend, and Congress was busy, spending our money into a foreign interest, and with no accountability of how that's going to do anything to keep perpetuating this war that they seem that there's no way they can possibly win.
Yeah, they spent $60 billion to send to Ukraine, and not a dime for the U.S. border. If this was put to a vote of the American people, I believe firmly, if this was put to a vote of the American people, it would probably be, I do not want to maximize that. It would probably be 80 or 90% against this vote. And so that's why they did it the way they did it. They're absolutely betraying us. And, it is a dick. They're basically slapping us in the face with their dick. They're dick slapping us. They're saying, we don't give a fuck what you want. We're invulnerable. You can't do a thing to us. Fuck you. That's what they're saying. And it's not just MAGA. It's the American people who got completely screwed over this. And it's only going to make the geopolitical situation worse if, in fact, any of the money actually gets to the Ukrainian military or gets to some sort of military aid, which I don't think it really does. So, Brooks, is there something that we've said that's wrong or something that we're missing? Can you give us any hope about what this means?
Well, I mean, you're exactly right. Foreign aid is money laundering. And I think this is a $61 billion bill, but only about 13 or 14 billion are going to make its way to Ukraine. The rest is going right in the pockets of the military industrial complex, which is the donor class. So you're right. Everybody waving those treasonous Ukrainian flags in there is going to get a big fat check.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
I can't believe they smuggled those flags in there. I mean, that was the biggest. It'd be like waving Japanese flags during World War II. It's that disgraceful.
It is, except that Ukraine technically is not our enemy, but that, there were some other posts by people recently that talked about, Ukraine is a totalitarian state, even worse than the United States has become. There's no democracy there. It's all just phony. And, it's just like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about this, except there's a meme that goes around and it says, I'm past the point where prison is enough for these people.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is, I don't know what the American people can do about it, because even if we vote, they're still going to steal the elections state by state.
Well, I think the thing we can do about it is tiki torches, pitchforks, shotguns, rifles, AR-15s, and that's what we should do about it.
Well, Saturday night, there is a Spaces meeting on X, and they're going to be talking about that very thing. I don't know what time it is. I know it's supposed to be 8 o'clock, but they didn't say it was Eastern or Pacific, so I don't know yet. But I'm going to find out about it, and I'll proliferate the meeting.
That would be good. I would like to be on that call myself.
Nice.
So, I mean, it's Blake, I just want to, before we get out of this issue, do you feel like there's any other choice except to, and I got to be careful of my language, but to do what they did in the American Revolution against these people?
I mean, I think if our forefathers were watching, they'd be screaming at us to do something about it. As you said, yeah, they're just throwing it in our face right now, like daring us to do anything about it. They're just, yeah, they need to be reined in one way or another, and everything is rigged and everything's corrupted. So I'm trying to give one more last hope for the ballot box this November. But if that doesn't happen, then it's time to declare some kind of a national divorce.
Oh, you're an election
happen, then it's revolution, right?
Well, that's the thing is we voted them out of office in 2020 and they stole it anyway. And they're going to try to seal it again. And, you know, I mean, the Supreme Court is also in on it. They deserve the same fate as these traitors that we just put on the screen because, you know, guess what they did? They rejected Arizona and Kari Lake's election interference case without comment. They didn't even, they were refused to even take it up, even though she had evidence, chapter and verse of the corruption of the voting machines. They were unreliable. They were compromised. They absolutely, not only did she show they could be compromised, she showed that they were compromised.
And they showed that they were compromised in the previous election 2 years before.
Yep, 2020. So it's like there's literally nothing left that it feels like we can do except what they seem to want us to do, which is to treat them like the Frankenstein monster that they are, right? I mean, there's not much else.
Well, I kind of believe with Silver Slayer, I'm siding with him in the chat room. And I said this in 2020 when everybody said, well, we'll get him back in 2024. I said, there won't be a 2024 unless we fix 2020.
Yep.
And the scenarios that come down, because Biden is not going to be candidate. I keep telling you that, but he's not going to make it. They're going to replace him. And I started running through scenarios in my mind, and it scared the crap out of me because there are really only 3 ways to get rid of the guy. And there's only one that allows them to save face and blame it on the January 6th insurrection.
Why don't you tell us about that?
I don't know if I can. I mean, you can't take him out with the 25th Amendment because everybody loses face. Oh my gosh, why did you elect this guy who's an old fart?
Yeah.
You can't, I don't think, pull off Operation Gerald Ford in time. I don't think you can replace Harris with whoever, an actor. It could be Gavin Newsom, could be anybody. And then move Biden out and move the vice president into the president's position. It's too late. It took him 2 years to set that up for Gerald Ford.
Right. But that was in a different time when media didn't move as fast also.
Well, that's true. That's true. But the third way is to assassinate Joe Biden. They save face. The press would immediately blame the January 6ers and
drunk Trump supporters like you and me.
Violent MAGA crowd, right?
Yep.
Which would turn the entire country because you got the whole media behind it.
Right.
And all they would really need is somebody that they could hang this on that's even remotely a Trump supporter, and the whole system collapses.
Well, yeah, and I think that setup scenario would be where they would try to have the Democrat candidate legitimately win the election, but that's not going to happen because everybody knows it's a setup. Everybody knows Epstein didn't kill himself. Everybody knows these things are false flags now. So that's not going to work. We're still going to vote against the Democrats, and we're probably going to know that that's the case. And I will tell you, I do have a friend who's in that business and the mechanic, and he told me that there has been contracts out on these people, top 3 people, for quite a while, for almost 4 years. The money that's been offered is not enough for anybody to take them up on it, but maybe they're going to up the money. And I think you're right. I think when it becomes very obvious that Biden is going to lose, if we even get to the August, good God, if we get out of April, we're going to November, folks. I just hate to tell you this. If we get out of April and nothing has flipped, we're going to November, and we're going to go into an election. And then we're in all these other scenarios that we're talking about, including Brooks, the one you just brought up, which is if he's losing as bad as he's losing right now, which is it's only going to get worse. They're gonna get rid of him, try to bring somebody else in as a savior, and that's going to be their cover for stealing another election.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's why I say this 2024 election is probably the most dangerous election we've ever had in the history of this country. We're in a bad place. We're in a very risky place. Trump can't even go out and campaign, and he's still winning. It scares them to death.
Yeah. Blake, do you want to get in on this conversation, or is it too scary for you? Do you want to drop off the show? Because you don't have to stay.
No, I'm not worried about it. I really hope that there's a peaceful resolution for this, or that there can be a Trump victory and that's not contested. Or, like I said, it's maybe the next easiest way is the national divorce, if we can find a way to pull that up. Otherwise, that there's going to be an insurrection, a real one. Not the fake one from J6. So they're asking for a revolution, but that's all part of the Declaration of Independence. This is what our forefathers would want from us to act. We can only put up with so much. We've got to address these grievances here. They're just they've gone rogue. So we've been taken over from within. So we have a duty to do something about it, and we hope that we don't have to go to the extremes that our forefathers did. But if we have to, it's that, or we just capitulate to whatever, the NWO, World Economic Forum, what have you. And we're going to be 20 years away from the Hunger Games.
Yeah, that's not the option that I'm willing to accept. And I don't think the majority of the American people are willing to accept it either. No. I guess we had a little freeze up there. Apparently, of course, from my perspective, you guys froze. From your perspective, I froze. But we're back.
All right.
We're back streaming from my very reliable Cox cable service here in Las Vegas, Nevada. But speaking of fanaticism and speaking of stunts, let's go back to a few days ago, Thursday, when they were seating the Trump jurors in his kangaroo court trial. Basically, here's the thing. Donald Trump is on trial, okay, for winning his defamation case against Stormy Daniels, in which she admitted she never had sex with him, and she violated her NDA, and she now owes him $318,000, and I think it's up over $650 now. She actually admitted that he was telling the truth and not her, and now the state of New York is attempting to prosecute Donald Trump. Total kangaroo court, total complete fraud, lawfare for for giving her money to shut up. But it was Michael Cohen who did it, not Trump. Trump had no knowledge of it. That's been established. And Trump paid Cohen back the money, not even really knowing what it was for, apparently. But they're saying, well, you're trying to say it was campaign contribution, it was campaign expense. Anyway, it's not a crime. Okay. It's not a crime. It's not even a misdemeanor. And paying off sluts who lie about you and say that you had sex with them or raped them or something is not illegal. Ask Kobe Bryant. Oh, sorry, he's dead. Ask Shaq. He used to do it all the time. So the whole thing is a farce, but outside the courtroom, a nutbag actually set himself on fire. Last week. And here's some video. I would say it's disturbing, but it's not, because it's all blurred. That lady wants a front row seat.
Smells like chicken.
Cops taking their time getting there.
What kind of drugs do you have to take?
Now, okay, so this happened, and this happened, and before we get into the details on this one, Blake, I'm a free speech absolutist, and I think you are too. How do you feel about them blurring these videos out? Because a few days ago you could get the real video, which didn't show much, but I'm totally against them only allowing the blurred out videos now on Twitter X. If Twitter X is a free speech platform, we ought to be able to see the real video, hadn't we?
Yeah, I guess I hadn't looked or noticed that, but I think that should be available. And sometimes I think YouTube puts some kind of a security measure where you got to, verify your age or something. Maybe we could meet in the middle there. Like if you got to be 18, you can see the uncensored version if you want. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, to each their own if they want to go look at it. I've never watched the, Faces of Death flicks because I don't want to see that. But if
no, me either,
watch that, that's good for them. Yeah, I don't need to see the gruesome details, but yeah, it's just this one was just a pointless one. Now, I get the first one, the Aaron Bushnell immolation. I don't agree with it, but I understood why he did it. For this one, though, I don't even know what the point of this was. What is he drawing attention to?
Yeah, the thing is that he left a manifesto. He recorded a video before he did this and died from his injuries. And some people are saying, "Oh, it's fake," but I don't know if it's fake. I'll have to ask my friend Mark Z tomorrow on Whiskey and Wisdom because he's handled dead bodies before, and I'll have to ask him, in a former job, whether he thinks that they were legitimate videos of this guy. But the thing is that I think I'm a free speech absolutist, and I do not think you should force people to blur out the video. I really don't. Now, the issue is that, and of course, right afterwards, they had interviews. I was watching CBS News. They're interviewing people that are there. It's like, well, almost certainly a Trump supporter. Those people are all crazy. Of course, they're Trump supporters. And it turns out he's a fucking Antifa Democrat, socialist, commie nutbag who's got a bunch of pictures of him with Bill Clinton and other Democrats. And then all of a sudden, the story completely disappeared. But my point is this. The longer that this nonsense goes on, that these fake trials of Donald Trump are allowed to proceed, the longer that the cowards, and I'm speaking to all of you guys in the U.S. military right now, from the Joint Chiefs on down, the longer that you cowards wait to remove this unelected Chinese tool named Joe, pretending to be Joe Biden in the White House, the longer you wait to remove this guy, the more of this kind of stuff is going to happen. And had you done your job and done your constitutional duty and removed this criminal enterprise government and started everything from scratch and declared martial law like you should have when the election was stolen, none of this would be happening. None of these people would be dying. And those with mental health issues like this would be getting the help they need. Instead, we have this kind of shit going on all over the country. And to what end?
Yep.
To what end? That was my soapbox. Blake, what do you think about all this? I mean,
yeah, I'd like to have an explanation on what they were thinking or what's going on, or if they were going to do something and how organized this resistance actually is. Certainly, yeah, we really got let down. Must be, it's easier from them. We're the ones kind of in the arena here. I mean, I don't know exactly what they've got going on or how that all works, but yeah, this has been a kind of a disaster the last several years. So we lost. Yeah, part of it is taking over. Part of it is just educating the public. So if there was some way to broadcast the truth about how we got here and how we get out of it, that would be very key for the public to see something like that. So that was part of it. Like, okay, not only are the white hat's going to take over, but yes, they have everything, and they need to show us, so then the American people could get on their side. So I don't know what happened, but we
what is going to motivate if people burning themselves to death, immolating themselves outside of a trial in New York City, a sham trial in New York City that wouldn't even be happening if you'd arrested all these fuckers. Yeah. If that's not enough to get you motivated to action, what's going to motivate these people? And look, the options, there's two options. There's an orderly removal of this fraud criminal government, including Republicans and Democrats, who voted for this Ukraine aid and have done all kinds of unspeakable things to children that we know about. That's one option. You guys do it in an orderly manner and take care of business and restart the whole thing from scratch in terms of elections, or it goes out into the streets, which is by far the worst option.
It is.
Why aren't you doing something? Brooks, what's your thought on why they're not acting on this stuff? And by the way, yes, especially on Rumble, hit the like button, please. Brooks, what are your thoughts?
I mean, they're stopping what they want to stop. And what they want is that they want the narrative that Trump is a dictator. Trump is going to cause chaos. Trump is causing huge division in the country, so much so that people are willing to burn themselves to death rather than see him elected. That's the narrative they want to put out there. And you know, brace yourself for more. You know, these demonstrations that happened that are happening as we speak, you know, at Yale and other places, they're not going to stop that. They're not going to get in the way. They're going to say, well, we only have room to arrest 100 people. I hate that there's 2,000 here, but you know, there's really nothing we can do about it. And they're just going to let it keep escalating and watch for the summer to be even worse. And it just means that the ante for the October surprise is that much higher.
And again, you know, there have to be some people in positions of power in our military who are patriotic Americans and who know what's going on and are willing to do something about it. Where are they? You know, I keep hearing all this shit about what a fucking hero Michael Flynn is. If you were a hero, Mike, you'd be calling on all your colleagues to join with you to take care of this problem. You're not a hero. You're a coward. And I don't want Flynn anywhere near the vice presidency if Trump ever gets back in the White House.
Well,
I don't trust the guy. I don't trust
question in the world right now.
I do not trust his Masonic prayers that he leads in front of people when he does public appearances. I don't trust any of these people. So it's all the heroes are retired. You know, they got to know something. I will tell you this: I do have a friend. There is a battle going on behind the scenes in the military, but let's bring it out in the open. Let's just fight it out. You guys need to act, or somebody else will, and you're not going to like it. Remember what happened in the French Revolution? Okay, it's going to happen again if you guys don't do something. Blake, I guess I'm really fired up today.
I hear you. We were hung out to dry, get let down, and we've had to deal with this nightmare for another few years. But I guess, you know, we've only got maybe 6 months left of this dystopian torture. And then, we'll have to see what happens. But, you know, we could either miss the election or, you know, we'll get a contested election or something. But at least that'll be kind of a new chapter. We can go from there. And then we can rely on the military or, you know, some more severe options, I suppose. But this is kind of the last time that I will give some legitimacy to the election. But if we cannot win and it's some blatant BS, you know, ballot counts in the middle of the night, then we can't just accept those sort of results.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We accepted the results because Trump accepted the results.
And we thought the White Hats would jump in during that kind of grace period of that lame duck era, and they didn't do anything. We thought till the 20th when they swore him in, or the White Hats were going to swoop in and save the day.
They decided to sell us out and let us go through this. And look, I'm just going to tell you again, none of us are important to them. None of us are important to these people. If you or me or your parents, you know, die waiting for a treatment that's out there, that's in a secret, undiscovered unreleased medical technology, they don't give a fuck about you. So if they don't care about us any more than this, why should we care what happens to them when the flip comes? And I'm just telling you guys, I wrote it in the choice. I've been trying to communicate with this to you for 14 years. 14, 10, 10, 4. Okay? If you think you're going to replace this satanic totalitarian regime with your own, good Christian evangelical tyrannical regime, you're out of your minds. You're going to end up against the wall too.
Yep. Yep.
So it's better to just pull the scab off, rip off the Band-Aid, and get it over with. We've been waiting far too long for this because, sorry, I'm just on my soapbox tonight, gentlemen. All right, another development in the, is there actually a plan? Is there actually a plan aspect of this? Michael Avenatti, of all people, Avenatti said this week, a couple days ago, I'd be more than happy to testify. I don't know what I will be called to testify, but I've been in touch with Trump's defense for the better part of the year. Avenatti, Michael Avenatti, creepy porn lawyer, is volunteering, guys, to testify with and in favor of Donald Trump. What do you make of that? And does it speak to the possibility, Blake, that there really is some sort of white hat plan going on in the background?
It could be part of it. Yeah. I mean, it seems like he's a flaming narcissist and he loves the chance to get at the camera, but it could also work in his favor if he can help, pardon Trump if he thinks Trump can get elected. So that would be very interesting. So yeah, he wouldn't miss this opportunity to speak out in some way or another. So yeah, it's not the last we've heard from him, but this should be a very interesting turn of events, depending on how that plays out once he gets that chance, if they let him have that chance, and what side he's going to play for and what the bigger game is behind the scenes. But what we do know is that this trial is complete, a farce, and even he knows it. Yeah, which is, it's interesting enough. Making a big deal out of something that happened trumping up some dumb charges from 20 years ago, and then falsifying a business record. Come on, like, this is the important thing that's facing the country.
Well, and then they turned it into a felony.
Yeah,
they could convict him of it with nothing but Democrat jurors and a Democrat judge whose daughter worked for the Kamala Harris campaign and who is profiting from this case, and along with the judge. I mean, they're utterly corrupt, all of them. The judge needs to be removed from the case, Bobby Kennedy style. So anyway, did I say that out loud? Brooks, do you think this Avenatti thing is an important development or not?
Yeah, and the reason I do is because Avenatti is not irrelevant. He's not irrelevant. He was in on all of this. He was, in Stormy Daniels' bra. I mean, he's been there. So he is relevant. And if he comes in and shoots holes through, basically it's one felon calling another felon a liar, but this turns the kangaroo court into a bunch of wallabies. It's just the whole thing is going to fall apart as a big comedy. And the jurors are going to be, they're going to be so confused, they can't possibly convict Trump.
Yeah.
So
and
I think Avenatti is relevant.
There was another piece of shit traitor who proposed that Donald Trump be stripped of his Secret Service protection if he's convicted, so that they can kill him. That guy, and again, I'm trying to avoid being banned by YouTube.
That wasn't Raskin, was it?
Benny Thompson, I think.
Yeah, Benny Thompson. Again, I'm going to repeat. I'm past the point where it's just sending them to prison is good enough.
Yeah,
I'm way past that point.
Because Raskin's got his own problems. He's being sued for $20 million.
Right. Yeah. Bobulinski.
Yeah, like Tony Bobulinski. But again, the court system is heavily, skewed towards the Democrats and very corrupt.
Well, it depends on where Bobulinski gets a judge. People can judge shop. And don't forget that Grassley dispatched a letter to the IRS, which adds a whole lot of horsepower to Bobulinski's case.
Well, it does in a real court, but we aren't seeing much of real fair courts right now.
That's true.
And the courts are stacked very much to just take money from the people. That's what.
I don't know, because the whole reason we don't have masks and spacing and all that bullshit in the schools anymore is because activists started suing the bondholders. They started suing the bond companies because all these public officials are bonded.
Yep.
And once they started suing, and they had a bunch, like there was 20 states, they were suing these bond They finally said, look, the bond companies went to their elected official and said, you have to drop this and you have to drop it right now. Bobolinsky can do the same thing.
He can't have his private security in prison, dumb fuck. Okay, so bye-bye.
No, but he can have the Secret Service.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to take that away. It's amazing that they would even make the effort.
Well, I mean, Matt, seriously, you're trying to criticize me. You think that he can take his private security with him into prison if they put him in prison? Fuck you, dude. All right. So speaking of Stormy Daniels' bra, I would have been happy to be in it in 2008 or 9 when she was still in her 20s and I met her at a party in Hollywood. But not anymore. Like, wow, not anymore.
Was she really that good on the pole? I don't know. I can't see it.
Not on the pole.
Oh.
Not on the pole. There's another part of her aspect of her career which you probably don't know anything about because you're a good, clean-cut, fresh young man.
I don't do that kind of stuff.
All right, so in the they will not be able to walk the streets category, Alec Baldwin was confronted in a coffee shop or a donut shop this weekend. Might have been a Starbucks, and what ensued? Hilarity ensued. Let's just say hilarity ensued. Let's watch this and just enjoy this.
Time, Alec. No jail time, Alec. You're putting innocent people in jail, Alec Baldwin. Free Palestine, Alec, just one time, and I'll leave you alone. I'll leave you alone, I swear. Just say free Palestine one time. One time. One time. One time, Alec. You know he's a criminal. You know he's a fucking criminal. Come on, Alec, just say free Palestine one time. One time, just one time, please, and I'll leave you alone. Free Palestine. Fuck Israel, fuck Zionism. Please say it. One time.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
No jail time, Alec. You're putting innocent people in jail, Alec Baldwin.
That's like a left
Free
jab,
Palestine,
baby.
Alec, just one time.
Oh my God, that okay. Look, I just
Nothing like a left jab. I love
well, and you know what? I mean, I'm torn. You know, she's a leftist nutcase. That's hilarious because as lefty as he is. But Blake, I don't know. Do you think this hurts Alec Baldwin any more than murdering somebody can hurt him? I don't know. What do you think about this one?
No, I thought it was great at first, and then it drags on and gets super annoying as she's trying to like force him to say, you know, free Palestine. So it almost seems like you almost feel bad for him, and you're actually rooting for him. Yeah, he goes in a minute. Yeah, he goes from like, oh yeah, finally he's gonna get his, because like the prop master from that movie got jail time. He didn't get jail time. I'm surprised that he was out in the coffee shop, and then she blows it by, you know, going overboard, and then you're kind of like, yeah, cheering for Alec because that girl was being so annoying. So yeah, but it's an interesting, emotional roller coaster in that 1 minute clip.
Anything bad that happens to Alec Baldwin is fine, but I mean, I think it is hilarious that he's getting harassed.
I love it. I love when they fight each other. It's great.
May as well sick them on each other, right?
Yeah, I would like to see it in Congress where Democrats just start punching each other in the face.
That would be good.
It would be awesome.
Or self-immolating. Why can't Nancy Pelosi self-immolate in Congress? Why can't that be a thing?
And did you see AOC jumping up and say, "I scratch your eyes out, bitch"?
AOC,
I just love it.
AOC is mine. Okay, I will deal with AOC. She's been a bad girl and she deserves a spanking.
Cori Bush would hook her out of her shoes.
It's fine. That's fine. All right. Okay. Moving on. Let's get into some weirdness in the news. That I don't know what to make of this. I assume it's real, but I'm not positive. This is Athens, Greece, earlier today.
Oh,
and I just like to ask you guys what the hell you make of this.
That looks like
all right, so I don't know what's going on. We're back in Greece, by the way, all right?
What the fuck is this?
Like, what is going on? I never saw this
Blade
since
Runner.
I'm here.
Yeah.
It's completely orange. The sun should be there somewhere.
But look there.
But look at, it looks like there's graphene or like black. This is nuts. This is really nuts. It's literally orange. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's orange. Everything is orange.
The streets, the buildings.
There's no filter on, nothing. Look at the green light, how it comes out, how it pops out. The lights of the cars.
It's not the right.
Like, it's not normal.
All that's missing is the Hans Zimmer
It doesn't
music.
look like in reality on the phone.
Yeah, it looks like a video game. There's no filter on, nothing.
Yeah, you're right. All it's missing is the Hans Zimmer music from Dune. Guys, that's weird. You got any thoughts on
Really
that,
weird.
Brooks?
Oh my
What do you think-
gosh.
What do you think that is? I mean,
Well, I mean, we've seen not movies, but we've seen pictures of that kind of stuff. Yeah, back in the days when everyone was burning coal and there would be a temperature inversion, all the coal smoke would be kind of hanging in the town and the sun would come up. It would just look spooky, like another planet.
yeah. And in a desert, I could see sandstorms
Sure.
causing that, and the light's going to be bent into the red because it's passing through this medium. But in Athens, and it doesn't
No,
seem like
because
there's any
it's surrounded,
fire.
it's almost surrounded by water.
Yeah.
It's so weird to have a sky like that. We used to comment about the sunsets in Salt Lake City that they were courtesy of Kennecott copper.
Yeah.
They were amazing, but it was from all the copper dust in the
Right.
air.
So,
Not in Athens.
Blake, any thoughts on this? And how would you react to that if you stepped outside onto your deck and that was what your city looked like? That was what your home.
Well, Brooks nailed it. It was Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
But that happened with New York. Was it a year ago? And it got weird like that. So the Canadian wildfires, they said, and
And Beijing. Remember Beijing did that too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be smoke from a fire.
It
But
could be a volcano, maybe. That's a possibility too in that area. I don't know. That'd be pretty freaky stuff.
Volcano.
But it's Mars or Canada, says Christian. By the way, Helwig, why don't Liverpool do us a favor and lose tomorrow? Thank you for that. Yeah, but any thoughts at all? Like, I don't really have any thoughts on what that is. It looks like what NASA does. It looks like what NASA does to the pictures from Mars. The sky's actually blue, but they make it look like that. What the hell?
I'd be buying a plane ticket, man.
Hell.
Yeah.
All right. In other weirdness, how about some AI weirdness? Huh? You guys wanna see some AI shiz that'll get you a little weirded out? Here we go. This is I want to say US Robotics, but it's not. That's the firm from iRobot. But let's go forward. This is their drone, dog drone. That's also believe it or not, flamethrower.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
can say is, did you? This is from Throwflame is the name of the company. The Ohio-based firm have announced the $9,420 bot is available for purchase by the general public and government agencies right now. All I can say about that video is, did you stupid fucks watch Battlestar Galactica? Okay, did you watch The Terminator? Like, we're gonna make a robot dog, an autonomous thinking AI robot dog, and put a flamethrower and a laser sight on it. Brooks, does this terrify you to the degree that it terrifies you?
No, I'm actually kind of excited about it because I have a 30-06 with metal piercing rounds. I think that thing would be just sport. It'd be a whole lot easier, a whole lot more fun than shooting groundhogs. I think I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to the robots taking to the streets. I got a problem with shooting people. I don't have a damn problem with shooting a robot.
Wow, it just brings arson to a whole new level as well. Blake, what do you think about that new invention? And is this a direction we should be going? I mean, I don't really think it is, at least not in public.
Yeah, it's really awesome, and it's also very terrifying. Yeah, it's not a good idea. I don't think the average citizen should probably own one of those. They'd probably get themselves into trouble with it. How do you use that thing responsibly? But it'd be interesting to see if we could do home security, like if you went and lived on a ranch, but then you have to worry that somebody could hack into it.
And with a whole new meaning to beware of dog.
Yeah, beware of dog. Beware of dog. He has a laser sight and a flamethrower. Okay. Another issue, the NASA director, what's his name? Bill Nelson, former senator from Florida, testified in front of, I believe, the House committee, the Honorable Bill Nelson. And this exchange took place. You literally have to hear it to believe it. By the way, this is a guy who last month or earlier this month called eclipses ellipses. But let's bring Bill Nelson up here and let him go for it, Bill.
And we're trying to get at what's the Chinese are doing, you think, on the backside of the moon. Do you have any insights in that?
They are going to have a lander on the far side of the moon, which is the side that's always in dark. We're not planning to go there.
And why not? And what's the benefit of doing so?
We don't know what's on the backside of the moon, so that would be something that they would discover. But our decision is that it's more profitable for us to go to the South Pole, because we think that's where the water is.
So why do you think they made that decision? I'm curious.
I have no idea. Going to have a lander on the far side of the moon, which is the side that's always in dark.
No, it's not. Okay, you idiot. No, it is not. You fucking moron. My God, this guy's the director of NASA. There is no dark side of the moon. There is a far side or a back side of the moon, which when the front is dark, which we can see when it becomes a little crescent moon, right before it becomes, waning, waxing gibbons and all that stuff, it's illuminated on the other side.
That's right. In fact, it's much brighter than the side that faces us. 6 times brighter.
Because it doesn't have the Maria, the dark seas, which absorb a lot of the light. It has the bright material, which reflects the light. And I can tell you exactly what's on the far side of the moon. I can name a whole bunch of craters like Daedalus, Daedalus R, and there's pyramids and flying saucers in bunkers on mountainsides. I know, because I've got the pictures taken by the Apollo astronauts. But good God, how incompetent how can this guy be? How come I'm not director of NASA? I got more brains than this guy. What the hell? Blake, does this frighten you that the director of NASA doesn't know there's no such thing as the dark side of the moon? It's just an album by Pink Floyd.
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember growing up as a kid, I was always fascinating. NASA seemed to be always cutting edge, and they were doing something cool. But nowadays, they've just turned into a joke.
Well, nowadays,
don't take it seriously anymore.
Private industry is taking over the moon. It's a long time coming, and it's a long time overdue. The gold rush is on, baby. governments are going to lose. It's going to be private industry that takes over the moon.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we can agree that. I used to bullseye womp rats in my T16 back home, and they're not much bigger than 2 meters. You realize womp rats are a derogatory nickname for the little Jawas, right?
The deep state.
Little guys. Yeah. Okay. So one more thing that I found pretty interesting this week. Did you guys know that it was Earth Day the other day?
Yeah. I celebrated by mowing my lawn.
They should make Earth Day the same day as Hitler's birthday, the 20th, so everybody can get stoned and celebrate, the natural byproducts of the earth, and Adolf Hitler, a fascist, just like the environmentalists, at the same time. The first environmentalist really was Adolf Hitler, just so you know that. But I wanted to go through this list. This is just a post, and there's a million more. If you read some of the Earth Day quotes, I wish now that I'd gotten prepared a little bit more and read all the Earth Day quotes, but let's just go and take a look at what the environmentalists have told us over the years. In the 1960s, they told us oil will be gone in 10 years. Okay, it's now 60 years later, and we've got more oil than ever. 1970s, there'll be another ice age in 10 years. Yes, that was the thing, the coming ice age. 1980s, acid rain and global warming will destroy all crops in 10 years. Well, that didn't happen. The 1990s, the ozone layer will be gone in 10 years. Well, there's still an ozone layer. 2000, the ice caps will be gone in 10 years. It's 24 years later, and the ice caps are as big as they've ever been. They wax and they wane. None of those happened, but they all resulted in two things: less freedom for you and more taxes.
Exactly right.
On the American people. They all did. So do you guys foresee, do you foresee a time, I think until we get control of the media back, and by that I mean we have a free press, I think until that happens, we're never going to see the end of this Earth Day environmental nonsense.
Go ahead, Blake. You're the expert on media.
No, but I agree. How many times can people keep falling for the same, trick? But yeah, it's a kind of infinite stupidity. It seems so. This will go away, and they'll come up with some other thing, and it's going to take a few years before the science gets debunked again. But here we are. And yes, we're just kind of stumbling through our evolution together. Maybe some of this is well-meaning, but yes, we've lost a lot of money on some real stupid things.
Yep, and it just the thing is, it just keeps going on. It was we're going to run out of oil. Then it was the global ice age. Then it was the global warming thing. Then now it's climate change. Let me just tell you, the climate hasn't changed. My entire lifetime, there has been zero climate change. The weather in California is exactly the same as it was when I was a kid. The weather in Washington is exactly the same as I was when I was a kid. The weather here in Vegas is exactly the same. In fact, the only difference there might be is that the climate, especially in North America, might be a little bit milder than it was. Because I can remember when these big, gigantic tornadoes wiped out entire towns in Oklahoma in the 1960s, and none of that shit ever happens anymore. So, Brooks, when is there any truth is ever going to come out?
You are right, but here's the change that happened. Rush Limbaugh invented podcasting. Okay, he's the inventor of podcasting. The Diddlecam was the very world's first podcast. It was kind of boring. Not many people bought into it, but it was a start. Now we are the mainstream media. We're really the mainstream media. We have a bigger viewership than CNN. CNN used to be the mainstream media. They had the big audience. Now they have a very small audience. Podcasting, and it's not one podcast. It's tens of thousands. It's millions of podcasts. We are now the mainstream media. And that is undoing this ongoing, we got to tax, you got to pay us more money or the world's going to die. You got to pay us more money, the oceans are going to flood. You got to pay us more money, the ice caps are going to go away. That is losing its steam because we undo it. We deal in facts. We are the free press.
So you're suggesting that we're more important than the big three networks are anymore?
Hell yes.
How dare you? Okay, Blake, anything do you want to add to this particular subject?
Well, they've certainly lost their numbers where they used to be absolutely enormous and get tens and millions of views on all their major shows. They certainly don't. So people are finding their news elsewhere. Now, maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's YouTube, but at least that's helpful.
50
Yes.
million people
Yeah.
are doing business on TikTok. 150 million Americans use TikTok. It's free press.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recently started a TikTok and I'm not using it very much. Paul, the weather simply is not changing. It is not. The global temperature records are clear. There's no increase in heat or anything. It's just the same as it's been for as long as we've been taking measurements, which is only about 150 years.
Actually, it's more than that. It's about almost 300 years we've been using thermometers around the world. It wasn't until we switched to satellites taking temperatures that they started tweaking the numbers.
Mm-hmm. And I have pitched to Y-Files on doing an episode about this, but we shall see. All right. Yeah, I always wondered just how much Walter Cronkite knew. I do know there is a story of Walter Cronkite where he told Reagan if Reagan didn't pick George Herbert Walker Bush as his vice president, he would make sure that Reagan was never the president of the United States. And at the time, he might have had the power to be a big influence like that, but not really. I think Reagan should have told him to go fuck himself, but that's okay. All right, guys. Few other things. Please do not forget that as soon as this video is over, as soon as this live stream is over, it's going to get pulled down off of Mike Barrett 2. Mike Barrett 3 and Mike Barrett 333. I can't do anything about Mike Barrett 2. If this one doesn't get Mike Barrett 2 banned off YouTube, I don't know what will. But you can always go to Rumble. You can always pick up the shows there on MikeBarra.blogspot.com. We got the shows, the Monday morning show I did with Jen yesterday, the last few shows here, my interviews with different people in the UFO community, my UFO videos, where I completely solve the Calvine UFO photo myth, articles I've written, presentations I've given back when I was invited to the New Living Expo, Brooks. So go to MikeBarrett.blogspot.com to pick it all up. Also, please don't forget to visit the CBD Gurus over at the CBDGurus.com. Our wonderful sponsors. If you hit the wholesale tab, slide down to Mike B Wholesale, type in the discount code ALIEN. You will get not only access to their wonderful products, including the new skin lotion they've just come out with, which you'll also get for over $25. You get 500 dinar, just in case the Iraqi dinar ever revalues to a reasonable rate. Also, please don't forget to go to MikeBarraPets.com, where you can pick up all kinds of cool health products based on the Coriolis versicolor and reishi mushrooms for your dogs, for your cats, for your horses. You hit the shop now button, jump on over there. You can see all the products. I'm giving Barkley Mojos, which are freeze-dried liver treats with Coriolis versicolor mushroom in them. I'm giving him Mush Puppies and Mush Puppies Plus. He's running around like a 2-year-old, and he's going to be 12. They've got starter packs. They've got mush ponies for your horses, and also products for human beings. Enforce Clarity, Enforce Immune Booster, Enforce Plus with Rishi, and the Enforce Restore. All great stuff. Just send an email to Diana over at MikeBarraPets@gmail.com. Tell her what your health issue is, what your dog, your cat, your horse's health issue is. She's a certified pet nutritionist. She will help you figure out what you need to figure out to get your dogs and cats, or even yourself, on. And it's amazing stuff, and it works great. And I really can't recommend it highly enough. Blake, why don't you tell us what's going on over at the Next Level News besides you and me and Brooks being up there on the screen?
Well, I do a show with my friend Brian Engelman of the New American Media. It's called the Agree to Disagree Show. We do that Tuesday and Thursday afternoons, 3 p.m. Eastern. So you guys can participate in the live streams if you'd like, covering the latest news and current events. Chime in on whether you agree or disagree on the hot topic issues.
There we go. Brooks, why don't you fill us all in on, I did get that tab.
Well, I got a couple things first. I bought 50 trillion Zims.
Okay.
The Zimbabwe money. Go to 100trillions.com if you want to get some of those. Something's going to happen in Zimbabwe, it's worth the 50 or 60 or $100 you want to risk to try to get in on it. 50 trillion Zims I bought for $60. It was really, really a good deal.
Well,
Also,
there are people saying that, the 50 trillions might not be exchanged. I don't think that's correct. I hear it's not correct. I would say if you can only get one, get the 100 trillion, but because it's for sure part of this thing, but the 50 trillion is almost certainly still good, but I'm not a financial advisor and cannot. Go ahead.
I also want to give a shout out to Lupe and Don, who took me to dinner in San Francisco. It was the best Mexican food I ever had. Thanks so much. They're listeners to this program. That's why they came and took me out to dinner when I was at the New Living Expo. And I just want to give a shout out to them. They don't chat, they just listen. So shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. If you go to brooksagnew.com, you can get ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine for yourself without a prescription. And don't go out there and pay $190 to these people that are charging you for it. Buy it at cost from me. We have a 100% customer satisfaction. And that's a long time. For 3 years, we've been doing this.
That's right. Good stuff over there at brooksagnew.blog. Okay, gentlemen, we're down to the end. And kind of what I want to do is go back to something we haven't done in a while. I think the last time we did predictions, my prediction came true. So I'm going to make a new prediction, which is, look, I in case you don't know, I have see how this it's gotten darker behind me, and now my face is too bright. So now I gotta turn it down a little bit.
Nice.
I wanted to tell everyone I do have a new YouTube channel. It's called the Seahawk Boys Fearless and Stupid NFL channel. TV's Blake Wally did a wonderful introduction for me and Dave for that. I'm on there most of the time. Dave's not on there. But Blake, you want me to play the video so everybody can see your awesome work?
Yeah, you can if you. Yeah, it's all good. You can if you want.
About 15 seconds long. So there's our short little introductory and intro and outro video. Thank you, Blake, for doing that. Blake is a talented guy. Blake, did you do that with Canva? Is that how you create those things?
I do use Canva a lot to just get like B-roll footage. They have a lot of like good stock videos. So, and I use it for all my thumbnails. I'm a big fan of Canva, but I've also got like an animation premium program. So I got Soundstripe. I use like a different, like a premium music that I did. So I use a few different programs to put some of those together. It just depends.
That's
so it's the Seahawk Boys Fearless and Stupid NFL channel. Please go over, subscribe, like videos, watch them. I'm just trying to get enough engagement that I can get, I can start irritating some people in the Seahawks community. So, if you go there, just take a video, just play one of the videos on your phone when you're doing something else, set your phone aside, let it play. It gets me a view. It gets more attention. Leave a comment. I'll try to come back and comment to you guys back. But in the midst of all this seriousness, my prediction is going to be about something frivolous, assuming we make it to Thursday. The NFL draft is on Thursday. Yeah. First round is Thursday night. And I am going to go out on a limb. I think the Seattle Seahawks have been idiots for years. John Schneider, the general manager, and Pete Carroll, the head coach, have been idiots. And they have completely failed to address the quarterback situation since they traded Russell Wilson on March 8th, 2022, a date that will live in infamy. They have drafted 19 players since then. Not one of them is a quarterback. They are in desperate need of a star at quarterback. I think there are at least 3 guys who are going to be available when they're on the clock at pick number 16. And my prediction is they are going to take one of them. It'll be Michael Penix, it'll be Bo Nix, or it'll be Spencer Rattler. My personal favorite of those 3 is Penix, but Spencer Rattler is an amazing player. A lot of people think he's not going to go to the 3rd round. Now, they might also trade down a few spots if they can and pick up one of those 2 guys there, especially if Penix is gone by 16. But my prediction is they're going to take a quarterback first. And I'm hoping that John Schneider, the GM who's left now that they've fired Pete Carroll, is smart enough to realize if he doesn't get something going at the quarterback position. His team is never going to be good enough to contend again. I hope. And if he's not, guess what? He gets to get fired, which he should. So that's my prediction. It's sports. It's simple. It's easy.
He just
Blake,
needs to register for the Seahawk boys.
the Seahawk boys. Okay, good for you. Good. And we'll be doing a couple of mock drafts before where we try to predict what everybody's going to do, including the Seahawks. But I'm just gonna make that statement. I think it's more likely they'll do something stupid like trade, like ignore the quarterbacks and take somebody else, like an offensive lineman, which is stupid. But
What?
we'll see what they do.
Yeah.
All right, TV's Blake Wally, you got a prediction for us this week?
Sure, why not? I'll stick on that same theme there. I'm going to predict that the Minnesota Vikings will 100% draft a quarterback in the first round.
You are
Not
correct,
sure.
sir.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, a lot of
Everybody
people think they're going to trade up and grab one of the other guys that I did not name, like JJ McCarthy or
Drake May or
Drake May might be in play. I think those guys mostly suck, though. I mean, so I think the Vikings are going to do something at quarterback, absolutely, with their draft picks. Brooks, you got any predictions?
I do. I think the Panthers are not going to be the worst team in the league this coming season.
Yeah. They have Bryce Young had a rough rookie season, but he has talent. He has talent. And they've signed a bunch of guys to block for him. They took a guy from Seattle named Damian Lewis, who was a pretty good player at right. They paid him $54 million over 4 or 5 years, which is crazy for Damian Lewis. But they've got some guys to block for him. And I think in this draft, they don't have a first round pick. They would have been the number 1 overall pick. They could have had Caleb Williams, but they got a quarterback last year.
They traded their number 1 pick.
They traded it to get Bryce Young.
Yeah.
They should have taken CJ Stroud, who was the number 2 overall pick last year, and the guy I wanted the Seahawks to trade up and get. And he only had the best rookie season probably in the history of the NFL. So he's going to be a superstar. But Bryce Young can still be a really good player. He can still lead you to the promised land. But they have 2 second-round picks. I think they're definitely going to take wide receivers and guys like that to help.
Yeah, he needs more tools. He needs more people he can throw to.
That's true. He does. All right. So 3 predictions all about football. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up. Yeah, it is a sideshow. It is a sideshow. There's no question. It's a sideshow, but
it's our show. And it's the number 1 round table on the internet.
Right.
News roundtable right here. I have to do things, guys. I have to distract myself with stuff like sports to keep from blowing my top, to keep from going postal. I really do. So it's part of me keeping my feet grounded and sane and locked into the room. So thank you guys all for being here. Epstein did not kill himself. None of us did. Have a great week. We'll be back again next Tuesday for next Tuesday's roundup. We'll find out if any of our predictions come true. And love you guys. Thanks for being here. I'll be back on tomorrow with the lovely Jennifer Fallah-Doring. And we'll be talking about, it'll be Tell the Truth Wednesday. And I'll probably be on Whiskey and Wisdom with Mark Z tomorrow night, in which place, the thing I like about this show, guys, is there's no feminine influence at all. I mean, there's ladies in the chat, but they don't come in here and bug us. So like tomorrow night, I mean, if you want to see some fireworks, watch me with Mark Z and Mark's son Zach, who you guys met at North Carolina last year. Watch us piss the ladies off in Mark's chat, because last week it was hilarious. Next week would be more hilarious. And Ori, I don't mean none of you ladies are out there. I'm just saying, we pay you no mind when we're on here. This is just 3 guys sitting around, drinking some whiskey, smoking some cigars like we're going to do in North Carolina if we all get together again. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Love you guys. See you next week.